What's up, fellow tomato lovers? Today we are going to continue our look at some new varieties from the world of tomato breeding. In a recent episode, I told you about the varieties from the Duran Duran series, and I think it's time to keep the conversation going about this tomato line, especially since it's packed with a ton of incredibly interesting specimens, and it's always a pleasure to talk about varieties like these. Well, if you're ready, then Tomato Express is on its way. Take your seats, we're getting started. And I don't cry for yesterday, there's an ordinary world, somehow I have to find. These lyrics from the Duran Duran's Ordinary World song literally spread across the globe back in the day. An ordinary world is something we sometimes lack so much. So familiar, so ordinary, and so beautiful. This is the name of a tomato variety that I personally consider one of the most beautiful creations in the history of global breeding. And here it is, perhaps the main showstopper of the season, an incredible tomato called Ordinary World. This is a variety with slightly rounded, heart-shaped fruits of an unusually interesting color, decorated with striped patterns and anthocyanin. This isn't the only thing that could compete with its unconventional looks, was maybe the Fascination Street tomato variety, and if you grow them side by side, you get a drop-dead gorgeous picture. And don't let the name fool you, because Ordinary World turned out to be truly extraordinary. The indeterminate plants can easily shoot past the 6.5 feet or 2 meter mark and are real go-getters when it comes to growth. The fruits were a good size and sat all the way to the top of the plant. And of course, they are very beautiful, and by that I mean both the variation in their shapes and the vibrant color palette, which includes almost all the colors of the rainbow. I guess that's the reason why the fruits of this variety remind the breeder Bill of the globe with its endless diversity. Generally speaking, Ordinary World is beautiful, a real feast for the eyes, and it's a pleasure to have varieties like this in your collection. The weight is also great for a heart-shaped type, and my tomatoes averaged from 7 to 14 ounces, or 200 to almost 400 grams. The flesh is dark pink, and the fruits themselves have a great aroma. The taste is sweet with a fruity tang. This is an exotic through and through, a tomato that is good in all respects, and its flavor is in no way inferior to its appearance. Ordinary World is insanely beautiful, and importantly, it's delicious. The fruits have a lot of juice and brought a lot of pleasure throughout the season. One of the most pleasant discoveries of 2025, an incredible hit, and just a gorgeous tomato. I think I've said everything I wanted to say about it. As you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm glad there were a lot of great tomatoes this season, so let's continue our tomato journey and talk about the next variety. The latest addition to Bill Yoder's Duran Duran collection is named after the song Notorious. And to be honest, I was completely blown away by this variety for a number of reasons. Don't worry, the only thing notorious about this tomato is its name. Everything else is top-notch. This beautiful variety with fruits the color of dark cherries really managed to surprise me, even though I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary at first. Now, if you ask me if I'm ready to grow it again, I would say yes, without a second thought. I'll tell you the main reasons in a bit, but first, a few words about the variety. The plants are indeterminate. I grew them with 2 main stems, and in my case, their height in midsummer was about 5 feet or 1.5 meters. The fruits are oblate, noticeably ribbed, a classic shape for beefsteak varieties. They were a good size, and the plants set fruit confidently. Overall, I was really happy with the harvest. Moreover, the weight of the tomatoes was from 7 to 16 ounces, or 200 to 447 grams, and even one of these bad boys was enough to make a salad. Inside, the flesh is dark pink, almost burgundy, with grain gel in the seed cavity. activities. And now let's end the official part and talk about what matters most. I tasted these tomatoes at 2 different stages of ripeness, and now I'll share my impressions. The fully ripened fruits were sweeter, but what really blew my mind was their taste right at the stage when they were just barely ripe. It was something that made me drop everything right in the middle of the tasting and go write a message to Bill to share my thoughts on Notorious. It's to die for. The sweetness and the bright but not overwhelming acidity are perfectly combined. Plus, there is a distinct berry-like aftertaste, and it's all hard to even describe with words. At that moment, I really didn't know what to say. I was just enjoying the moment. Among a large number of exotic tomatoes, Notorious kind of stayed in the shadows, not attracting too much attention. But in the end, it turned out to be a true hidden gem for me. One of the tastiest varieties of the season, no buts about it. The only comment I'll add is my strong advice not to let the tomatoes get dead ripe on the vine. Then you'll experience what I experienced during the tasting. Overall, Notorious delighted me all season, both with its yield and of course primarily with its bright taste, which took me back to the moments of tasting the best tomatoes I've ever grown. Of course, the surprises don't end here. There are many more unusual varieties ahead, so I suggest we get to know one of them right now. Her name is Rio, and she dances on the sand, just like the river, twisting through a dusty land. Rio is another exciting addition to Bill Yoder's Duran Duran collection, a festival of colors and flavors that didn't stop all season long. I just love this name. Rio. It just sounds fun, doesn't it? And these tomatoes look no less festive. Besides, Rio is the favorite cherry of the breeder of this tomato collection himself, and that says a lot. A large number of tasty and beautiful tomatoes. That's probably how I would describe Rio. And although the variety's name is short, the plants on the contrary are real skyscrapers. By mid-season they were already well over 7 feet or 2 meters tall, and that's even with me letting my cherry tomatoes go wild with more stems than I do for large fruited indeterminate varieties. The fruits are big cherry tomatoes, round to slightly oblong in shape, with anthocyanin shoulders, and as they ripen, in addition to bright yellow tones, they also acquire orange and pink hues. And although the trusses themselves are not huge, the plants are loaded with them, which provided me a constant harvest of fruits throughout the season. For this reason, the yield was off the charts, no question about it. The fruits weighed in at an average of 1 to 1.5 ounces, or 30 to 40 grams, which is very decent for a cherry, especially with such a large quantity of them. The tomatoes turned out to be quite firm, and inside I found bicolor yellow and pink flesh. The taste is truly amazing, sweet but with an interesting hint of either plum or nectarine, and it's definitely pleasant. It has a slight acidity and a clear fruity note. However, you could have guessed that just from their exotic appearance alone. What else I can add from my personal experience is that in addition to their wonderful aroma, the tomatoes are also good keepers, and of course they would be great for canning too. But I preferred to eat them fresh, simply because it's a tasty variety, and because it's a cherry, and I love cherries. And now let's get back to the full-sized tomatoes and look at the next variety from the Duran Duran series. These beautiful elongated orange and pink hearts are named Save a Prayer, an interesting bicolor that also showed its best side this year. This is especially true for its taste, but not only that. My plants grew to about 5.5 feet or 1.7 meters tall when grown with 2 stems, and the tomatoes on them were only large. In the coloring, besides the already mentioned orange and pink tones, you can also distinguish a barely noticeable dusting of anthocyanin. Shape-wise, Save a Prayer is somewhere between a classic ox heart and a standard heart shape. The weight of the tomatoes consistently stayed in the 10 to 16 ounces or 300 to 450 grams range all season, which I was particularly pleased with. This bicolor, of course, has a beautiful cross-section. The walls are thick and the flesh is juicy. And now try to guess what it tastes like. If you answered sweet, then congratulations, you are right. It is indeed a very tasty, juicy and sweet tomato with a delicate and rich flavor. It's pure sweetness with just a whisper of acid. I really liked the deep and balanced aroma of this variety. Save a Prayer is not a keeper tomato, leave that mission to other varieties. You're gonna pick them and eat them fresh. As for how to eat them, each of you will decide for yourselves. Save a Prayer is an excellent representative of the Duran Duran tomato collection. Sweet, flavorful, quite productive, large-fruited, and I definitely recommend you grow it. And finally, let's look at one more variety from this tomato collection, which is called Hold Back the Rain. This green when ripe beefsteak tomato is the only one of its kind in this series. The leaves on the plants of this variety, which reached about 6 feet or 1.7 meters tall by mid-season, were of two types in my garden: regular and potato leaf. As Bill later explained to me, the same thing happened to him and he didn't notice any difference in the fruits themselves, so he decided to just ignore this fact. And you know, this situation reminded me of the story with the Alifir's secret tomato variety, which also has two versions, with regular and potato leaves. The fruits turned out to be quite large, with thin, light green skin. They have one of the lightest colorations among all the green-fruited varieties that have come into my hands. In this respect, it has something in common with the absinthe tomato, which I grew a few years ago. Fruit weight varied from 9 to 14 ounces or 250 to almost 400 grams. The flesh has a gummy, marmalade-like texture, just as light, and the main feature of this variety is a low, what am I saying? A critically low seed count. I mean, they are practically seedless. The taste has refreshing notes, there is almost no acidity, but the sweetness couldn't fully develop in this cool summer we had. In any case, I'll try to grow it again, and I hope the weather will play nice this time. Especially since I like green-fruited varieties. I love adding them to salads along with red, orange and dark varieties. After all, life needs more bright colors, and that goes for what we eat too. Well, I hope you found this interesting. If you missed the first part of my review of the Duran Duran tomato series, you can find it on my channel or follow the link in the pinned comment under this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and of course, love tomatoes. Grow tomatoes. This is the Lucky Garden channel and see you soon.